guys, today I am here with Mark from Mark Tobin Kitchen Design. So as you guys know, I absolutely hate my new kitchen. And I reached out to Mark because I happened to see a few of his kitchen design videos. I really liked how practical you were. You know, you watch some of these kitchen videos and you're just like, do these people actually live in a kitchen? You know, do they have a family? And so that's what I really liked about your videos.
Thank you.
I reached out to you and asked if you would be willing to help me design my new kitchen. So I'm a tightwad at heart. And so I'll be perfectly honest, I have this huge fear that I'm going to spend like $20,000 remodeling my kitchen and I hate it.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Yes. That's
Okay.
why the design process is so important, and getting as many iterations of a layout that's feasible or possible, even ones that you probably aren't going to like or that don't work in the space the way you think. The more of these designs that you can come up with, the easier it is for you to see the layout and the best layout that's possible for the kitchen. And otherwise it's kind of guesswork because you are spending so much money. And if you only have one or two designs to go off of or options, like how do you know? So I sent you a ton of different ideas, and the more they kept coming in, and then as you'd see one, you'd send me an email saying, well, can we try this? And that's the back and forth that really needs to happen, because that's how you figure out the best plan, because you should be able to see that in 3D and visualize working through that space, and understand that this is going to work well. So it's money well spent, and I'm not wasting money, instead of not really knowing what all the options are.
Okay, so you do this as job, right? I mean, you help people online design kitchens. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later at the end of the video. But I loved that you were able to just send me, like I said, well, can we move the refrigerator over here?
Right.
And you said, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So let's go back just a step maybe. And how do you find a kitchen designer?
Well, there's a few different ways. It depends on if you want somebody that you can meet, shake their hand, and them come into your home, or if you're comfortable with an online experience. And over the last couple of years, and before that, doing things online is becoming more and more popular. So some people don't mind that. In fact, they prefer an online solution. So I have an online solution that you can, get a whole kitchen design and whatnot. But if you prefer to have someone come in that you can physically meet, the best place is just you got to hunt around, really go to all of the different kitchen stores and find somebody that you click with. And it's hard to tell how well they're going to work with you until you start getting going. So I recommend like going to 2 or 3 different people. When I was in the industry, like in a brick and mortar building doing this, I'd have clients going all over the place to different designers, trying to find out the best fit. And I think that's important. And then, there'd be certain circumstances, they just come to you and they like you, or you will recommend it to them. And that's always nice. But you have to find someone who fits like you and you're comfortable with, and then that they're providing you what you want. In other words, are they giving you, different ideas? Are you saying, hey, can you move the fridge? And they're like, no, you don't want to do that. Well, maybe I do want to see what that looks like. And if you aren't going to do that for me, I'll go somewhere else. So you have to find someone that works well with you. There's a lot of great designers out there.
I would have to say, if you tell them something and they say, no, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Say 100%. Well, not 100%, because sometimes people just don't know what they want. They don't understand how kitchens work. So I could see a designer saying that. But if a designer doesn't even give you the choice to see what it would look like, I would think I would probably can that designer.
Yeah, there's obviously you're relying on their experience, and they might be right. You might not want that, but it's always nice. Like, why, or can you show me that? Like, why don't I want that? I recently did a kitchen for a client, and they wanted their fridge moved. It was not you, but they wanted their fridge moved to a location, and it wasn't the right location. And so I did the design for them. I took the time, I drew it up for them, I sent it to them, and explained to them, the pros and cons of it, and why I didn't personally prefer it, but it's their kitchen. If they want to do it, that's fine. And they came back to me like, thanks, we're not going to go with that. Now we're going to go with the original way that we had thought about. So those things matter, and finding someone that will provide that level of, service to you is important.
I was watching your video on I think the title was 5 Tips for Kitchen Renovation. And in there, I was so happy to see you say, have realistic expectations.
Yeah.
So many people don't have realistic expectations.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because I was talking to you and I said, my old kitchen was 1/3 of the size of what I have now, but this one is 100 times less functional
Right.
than my old kitchen was. And it would have been unrealistic in my old kitchen to try and put some of the stuff that I want in the new kitchen, in the old kitchen, because it was so small and it just
Right.
wouldn't fit. And so how do you keep people having realistic expectations?
I think it's important to upfront. Like, I understand you want a new kitchen and you want all these things. You're looking on Pinterest and Instagram and you see all this stuff you want in your kitchen, but the footprint of your kitchen is only going to hold so much. So it's a matter of taking all those things that are really important to you and finding a way to put them in your kitchen the best we can. But at some point, everyone has to realize that if there's not enough space, there really just isn't enough space. And you have to work within that setting that you have, but you might not know that. You just have a list of things, you want all these things. So through that design process, it's okay, well, do you want a wall oven and a cooktop? But if you get rid of that 30-inch monstrosity of a cabinet that your wall oven is in, and put a range, you're going to gain this. So it's a matter of showing them the differences and the options and then progressing from there, because it's not people's fault, but most people just don't know. They don't understand what won't fit or will fit and how those things play out in a kitchen design. So I think just through communication, and when I see a big list come in from a client that all these things they want, it's like, okay, well, obviously they want a really functional kitchen. So how do we get that and tick off as many of those things as possible? And them understanding that, okay, that there's some things that aren't feasible, and that's kind of life. That's not going to fit. It's not going to fit.
So let's say I'm going to totally gut my whole entire kitchen. How long does this process take? And we're in 2022 now, and you can't get anything. Is this going to be like a 6-month process, a year process? What are there any expectations right now if I were to remodel my kitchen?
Expectations are a hard thing to deal with a kitchen renovation. So the biggest thing with all of this is the wait time for cabinetry. So that's really what you're waiting for. The tear out of your old cabinets and the design process and the installation process, all of those have a shorter time frame to deal with. Like, we can design your kitchen and really get it finalized within a week. You can tear out your cabinets and have it prepped probably within a week or 2 weeks. Cabinets being ordered and arriving, that could take 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks or longer. In fact, right now, probably longer, depending on where you're going and what kind of cabinetry you want. So, are you getting a local cabinet maker to make them, or a local shop? That right now might be your best solution for time, unless you're going with IKEA or somewhere else, or they're ordering from a manufacturer somewhere. It's hard to know how long they're going to be. So it depends on how busy the local shops are. But I would expect right now you're probably 3 months and up and that's good. That's probably good.
So is that something where you would order the cabinets now, even though you haven't started?
Well, what my experience and what I would have done when I was, in the industry, hands-on ordering and doing this, is we would go in, measure your kitchen as it is right now, the kitchen that's behind you there, we'd measure that up, and we'd design that same as what I sent you, all the different pictures. We'd come to an agreed layout and we'd order that. And now you'd have, let's say it takes 8 weeks, and that's like probably pretty good right now. Well, that's 8 weeks you have to tear everything out, get it all ready, so that when those cabinets come in, they can get installed, and you're not out for too long. So that's normally the process, and that works well if all the pieces are working, and there's no mistakes, which is going to be mistakes or things that come up that you don't expect. So that's all going to happen and should be expected. So 3 months to 6 months is that. It sounds like a long time, but really it's pretty normal right now.
Okay. And what are some of your quick tips as I'm thinking about this? So my parents spent 20 years remodeling our house. I have horror stories from my mom washing dishes in the bathtub when she had a toddler and a newborn. I mean, literally, she did that for like 2 years. It was crazy.
Wow.
What are some tips to help make the kitchen remodel a little bit easier? Like, I mean, do you just move out of your house, or how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, if you can leave your sink to the very last, that's always a good plan. If everything
Oh,
else can come out, and leave your sink in place, or even a makeshift sink because the plumbing's there, and that's something that can be taken out, a day before the cabinets arrive. If everything else needs to be prepped, the walls and the floor, you can get around that. I've done that numerous times in the past.
that's a good
And
idea. I hadn't thought about just leaving the sink to the last.
yeah, at least the client has a sink, and you're not in the bathtub, or worse, like your vanity,
Mhm.
trying to wash something. So that's a good tip if you can do that. That's not always possible, maybe, because you could be moving plumbing or doing whatever. If you can move out somewhere, that's kind of a big ask. So that's usually not feasible for most people. So that is a great option if you can do it. If not, leave the sink in as long as you can, and you know hope for the best.
And expect delays, I
Big
think.
time. Yeah.
I think when somebody says it's going to take a month, just tell yourself in your head, it's going to be 8 or 12 weeks. I've kind of already set myself up that this is going to cost twice as much
Mhm.
and twice as much time as what I think it's going to take, no
Right.
matter what we do.
The thing with a kitchen is it's very exciting. You're spending a lot of money. You're getting something that a lot of people have really dreamed of or thought of or planned for a long time. So it's exciting, and it's normal that you want it to go, you want it to get over with, you don't want any problems. And when those things happen, it especially ones that kind of derail the project for weeks on end, it's so frustrating. It's time consuming, it costs money, it's stressful. You're arguing with your spouse about whatever. It's just all this stuff happens. So and the kitchen's such a big part of the home. Like, I don't want to be washing dishes in my tub another week. Like, I'm done with that. So it is frustrating. So if going in, this is probably, like you said, gonna take longer and cost more than I expect. That's a good thing to be thinking of when you're going into a kitchen renovation project. And that's not to discourage anyone from redoing their kitchen. It's just you need to be smart about it going in. Otherwise, every little thing is gonna upset you, and there's gonna be a lot of little things that come up that are completely out of your hands, and you just have to deal with it.
Yeah, like water spewing everywhere, or
You,
who knows
you
what.
name it. It's I've seen it all. I think it's not,
Yeah, I mean, it can get bad.
yeah,
It can get really bad. I
yeah.
know, or mold, or who knows what. I've seen mold.
Yeah.
I had a moldy house one time, and oh my goodness, it was bad.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, it
I mean,
was really.
I had cabinets delivered to the wrong places. I had cabinets come in, you open up the truck and they're all smashed sideways. The guys didn't strap them in. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. Wrong
Yeah.
size, wrong color, just everything, you name it. Or, problems in the home. There's a wire that shouldn't be where it is, or the floor is really unlevel. If going into it, this is probably going to be, there's going to be things that come up with any renovation project. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
And because the kitchen's so exciting, it can kind of make it a little frustrating. But in the end, it's going to be nice.
So the
Oh
next
yeah.
video we're going to do is on my actual kitchen renovation
Okay.
and my design. So Mark, tell my viewers just a little bit about yourself, just a quick little plug, because I really think your kitchen designs are great.
Thank you.
And so, I mean, I can't wait to show the next video, because I just love what you did, some of the things that you did with my kitchen. So give a little plug for yourself real quick.
All right, cool. So my name is Mark Tobin. I am a kitchen designer, have been for the last 20 years, but my love for YouTube has brought me on this platform to just make content to, number one, inspire people to, go ahead with a kitchen renovation and to help people in that process. And also to offer an online design service so that if anyone wants to design their kitchen remotely online, that we can connect. And Tara, this is exactly what you and I have been doing, back and forth remotely, designing a kitchen so that you can renovate yours.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty cool. You're in Canada and here I am in Wyoming in the United States. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool that some guy in Canada is actually designing my kitchen. I honestly would have never ever thought of that. And I just
Yeah.
happened in looking in your description, I just happened to see you do design. And I was like, well, wait a minute. You mean I don't have to have somebody come to the house and deal with all this? I could just get some ideas.
Yeah.
That's what I really liked about the online
Yeah.
design thing was I wasn't ready yet to just gut the kitchen, but I wanted to get some ideas so that I could be looking and figuring out what I want to do while we're waiting to get ready,
Right. Yeah.
And so that's what I loved about the online design thing. So go
Yeah.
guys, check out Mark's website where he will do the designs for you. It's in the description below. Go watch my video on why I absolutely hate my kitchen. It's in the description below and up here. You'll see why I hate my kitchen. I know we bought a really expensive house, but I really hate the new kitchen in the new house. So we're going to get it fixed. Thanks to Mark. Visit us at livingonadime.com.